It's a very good evening and welcome to Network. My name is Sphumelele Zondi. It's 19:30 Central African Time. Tonight we find out about local e-commerce sites in Zimbabwe, and also we found a few free government houses being sold online. We'll tell you about it tonight. We'll also go to Nigeria, where Sarah Kimani has told us about the glitches in the fingerprint authentication method used in the presidential elections over there. We have information on the revival of vinyls in this digital era. Our discussion tonight is on social media campaigns. Remember that we are live, so find us on SABC Network on Facebook and Twitter. It's newsnetwork at sabc.co.za and email. Let's start with your technology and social media news. Now, free government houses are meant to help those who cannot afford to buy property. We found that some of these houses are being sold online. There are many of them on OLX and Gumtree.
The online space can be a potential marketing place for businesses. Nowadays, one can sell or buy anything online. Real estate businesses are also using this platform to promote their properties, and that includes the sale of free government houses, also known as RDP houses. We found many of these houses being sold on OLX and Gumtree and found those selling them. Michael is the RDP housing agent. We called to get information about the houses he's selling online.
You must know, Jorge, if you buy RDP, it must be cash, because the bank, they don't fund or finance RDP. So there's no manga, there's no crooks in the game.
We called other agents and some dropped the phone and ended calls when we were asking them questions. Gumtree, the website many uses when selling free government houses, maintains that their sales complies with the law. We invited them to join us for studio discussion about this. Gumtree initially accepted the invitation, but later declined and sent us the statement that reads,
Gumtree is committed to ensuring that transactions completed in our site are safe and compliant with South African law. Our teams of moderators carefully review and filter adverts to ensure that they comply with our policies. We also regularly post articles and alerts on our site and have a customer service team available 24/7 to support potential buyers and sellers with their queries.
The statement does not make mention of these houses that are meant for poor South Africans who don't make enough money to afford the thousands of rents that are being sold for online. It, however, uses generic term home buyers. Some sellers even promise title deed when the sale goes through.
Nigeria has been trying out new technologies during this weekend's presidential elections. Its card and fingerprint authentication system has experienced a few glitches, though. Sarah Kimani is in Lagos for us.
It's called Old Jabba Road. Like many other places in Lagos, opened a bit late, but now they are already beginning the process of authenticating the voters to see that indeed the person who presents themselves and presents their card is the one on the voters' roll. Remember, this is the first time Nigeria is using the smart card readers. They are betting in technology to see that the election is rig-free, the election is fraud-free. So the people you're seeing on the queue here now are going to present their cards to the electoral officials. It will be put through a smart card reader. They'll have their fingerprints taken, and then only after that, after all the people registered to vote on this polling station, can they cast their ballots. In some cases, the readers worked well. In some areas, the readers seem to experience delays in validating voters' electoral details. In others, the readers did not work at all.
What happened was that we can't really say it was a machine. It didn't work. It didn't pick the president's fingerprints and his wife's fingerprints. But the other people on the line, he picked their fingerprints. So we don't really know why this was so. But we did anticipate that something could go wrong. And because of that, we instituted what we call incident report form. When such things happen, you fill forms and then the person is accredited and allowed to vote.
Immediately after polls closed, vote counting began. Unlike the voting process, which was marred by technological hitches, the counting process moved fast.
94! 95!
Both voting and counting went into the night as vigilant voters kept watch. From the polling units, the results are taken to the collation centres where they are then put into the Commission's website. Sarah Kimani, SABC Network, Lagos.
As many Zimbabweans struggle to make a living, there is no significant number of people turning to the web for this. We checked in with a few tech startups in the Southern African country.
Zimbabwean tech startups are using internet to deal with the country's high unemployment rate. This is boosted by the fact that more and more Zimbabweans are connecting to the internet. Half of those that connect online access it on their mobile devices. This has created opportunities for small business like Marua, which is an online flower store that sells goods to customers all over the world. It is estimated that internet business in Zimbabwe has turnover of about 60 billion rands annually. The revenue comes from social media advertising and e-commerce. Information technology analyst Limbekani Makani believes that Zimbabweans have embraced the internet.
I think the opportunity is huge, into the billions of dollars in value of business on the internet in the next few years to come.
Another Zimbabwean success story comes from WebDev. This is Zimbabwe's online classifieds. WebDev also provides web hosting services. The director of WebDev, Vusindebele, says the internet in Zimbabwe still have few improvements to make.
As technology providers, I believe that we can do better. And I think where we are right now, although we have a bright future with a lot of the young entrepreneurs that are coming into the space, we still have the issue of specialization in Zim. Everybody is a generalist because they've needed to survive pretty tough economic times.
Being generalists is something that might still need to continue for a while in a southern African country. According to World Bank, the rise of 10% internet usage can boost the country's economic growth by 1.4%. This pattern of growth could help to pull Zimbabwe out of the economic mess.
We're now in a digital era where a lot of music is auto-tuned, but in 2014, digital downloads were down. Despite this, vinyl sales are going up. This is the case in Kenya as it is in the rest of the world.
Time stands still in Jimmy Murugami's treasure house of music. He has operated from here since 1989. As the years have melted away, audio formats have undergone huge change. But all the while, Jimmy, who calls the MP3 the worst invention in music history, has religiously sourced, collected, and sold vinyl records.
My customers are global, but mainly young people.
In 2014, album sales were down. Digital downloads were down. Everything was down. Everything, that is, except vinyl sales. UK record sales crossed the 1 million mark, hitting an 18-year high. And East African artists were part of the wave. Them mushrooms hail from Kenya's golden age of boogie.
Any good album would sell in the range of 200,000, 300,000 copies within a year or 6 months. But that's a feat you can't achieve currently.
42 years on, they've still got it. For Jimmy, there was method to his madness, and it's paid off. He has capitalized on a niche market. But it is the rare one-off singles by East African artists who didn't have enough money to press a whole album that make his collection unparalleled.
I make my living purely on vinyl. I have 6 children. The last one is in Form 2. All the rest are not with me. They are working. Some have been through university. And out of this alone, nothing else.
Over the last 3 years, as interest in the venerable greats of African music has increased, Jimmy's business has almost doubled. Collectors travel from across the globe to find specific artists, records, and sometimes even songs that only his store has. Jimmy attributes his recent roaring success to exposure through the internet and the Nairobi vinyl record collectors, whose intimate monthly meetup is where the city's vinyl junkies come to get their fix. In a digital age of computer-programmed music, vinyl is resonating with the revival generation. And in Kenya, Jimmy is the Lazarus of the vinyl resurrection.
Maybe that revival of vinyls can get rid of auto-tune for us. After the break, we'll chat about a new social media initiative, the Like Change campaign. Stay with us.
Hi people, we are getting there, and thanks to you, Pati is set to become our country's 12th official language. Here's today's word. Substitute. Replacing a drinking buddy with somebody more fun.
That has gone out of the ballpark.
That's more like it.
Raise a castle and save a rhino. Get a talk pack for only $76.99. Tops at Spar. Shake things up.
SABC Network on Facebook and Twitter. Now, a new and exciting social media campaign is currently ongoing. It's called Like Change and aims to mobilize South Africans from all backgrounds in uplifting the country's children who need help the most. This is the brainchild of international NGO Africa Tikkun in collaboration with a South African social media company, Popeye Media.
They say, if you want to be good, you have to go to school.
Utilizing the newly realized power of social media, the international NGO Africa Tikkun has taken to platforms such as Facebook to create a new social movement in South Africa. This in their effort to help improve the lives of disadvantaged children. Many South Africans have already taken to Facebook and clicked on the Like Change page.
The app was quite easy.
Dis so 'n klein dingetjie. Net om te klik kan jy so groot verskil maak.
I could change somebody's life by clicking one button.
And if it's as easy as clicking, this is absolutely amazing. Hoe kan 'n mens dit nie doen? I've shared it on Facebook,
told my friends about it,
tweeted a lot,
and retweeting that
can just get the likes out there. Click and get all my friends to click.
1 million Facebook likes will activate corporate funds from a number of businesses. This way, 5,000 youngsters will receive decades-long financial assistance to help them achieve their dreams. But there are concerns from some quarters that the social media momentum may slow down at some point. Sustaining campaigns on social media is tricky, as there's a danger of public fatigue. Take the Save the Rhino campaign from here at home, or the famous Bring Back Our Girls campaign from Nigeria.
And when the idea is already out, it spreads like fire. And ideas are very powerful. When they're already out there, it's very difficult. Even if you killed 100 Boko Haram militant or Al-Shabaab militant, the most important thing for them is that the idea survives.
Meanwhile, this month's popular Rhodes Must Fall Twitter hashtag appears to have yielded a positive response for protesting students at the University of Cape Town. The university's Senate has voted in favor of removing the statue of Cecil John Rhodes from campus. However, the Senate does not have the final say on the matter. While hashtag Rhodes Must Fall is achieving some success and hashtag Bring Back Our Girls is virtually dead outside of Nigeria, it remains to be seen how well the Like Change campaign will do.
Now to further our discussion on the Like Change campaign is Ryan Silberman, Pop iMedia Chief Operations Officer. Hello, and thank you for being a part of our network.
Thank you for having me here.
The campaign is 2 weeks old, right?
A week and a half, yeah.
A week and a half.
Yeah.
How close are you to reaching those likes?
Well, by our estimation, it's really going to take us about 3 years to get there. So we're in for the long run, but if we meet it sooner, then all the better.
And now, can you tell us briefly about the campaign? What actually happens?
Sure. So the idea came probably 2 years ago. We were briefed by a brand. How can we make a real change in our country? How can we solve real problems if we had a budget, a big budget? And the brief to my strat team was, let's go and speak to the people. Let's see what the real problems in South Africa are. And what came back was we couldn't solve just one problem, because if you wanted to solve the crime problem, then you had to tackle education and so on. If you wanted to solve corruption or unemployment, it all leads back. They're all interlinked. So the video that you played just now was a concept video that we created of how we could mobilize the country to really create change. Then about 2 years after that, we got in touch, Africa Tikkun, an NPO, got in touch with us. They saw the video, and once we learned what the organization was about, it was like a match made in heaven. Africa Tikkun has a sustainable model which looks after kids from the cradle right to career. They have programs that take kids through until they can find a job. So we thought it was a perfect match, and hence we've been working for about 6 to 8 months on the campaign, and we launched a week and a half ago.
Who are you targeting here? Is it corporates?
So how it works is we've actually got a couple of existing sponsors who have committed funds to the campaign. We've got a target of 35 million rand, which we need to reach, and if we do and we get 1 million likes, that can save the lives of about 5,000 kids. So far we're about 24% funded. So if my maths is correct, that's about 8.5 million.
Let's talk briefly about that. Using social media for social change. How big is that concept in Africa?
So I think, what social media and today's digital world has really empowered is the fact that you don't need big money or government to actually create a campaign or get your communication out there. It's really leveled the playing field. So anyone with a good idea and with a cause and with enough passion can really make change in the world.
How are you going to keep the interest of people to continue clicking the like button?
So we're very fortunate. We have a number of sponsors on board, including the SABC Foundation. We have a number of celebrities on board. We've got Loyiso Bala, who's actually created a song which hasn't been released yet. So that'll be released, I think, in the next week or so, which will be unbelievable. And then we're going to start engaging corporate South Africa. What we want is to target segments of the country, from our sports leaders to our education leaders, even the politicians. Because in South Africa, I think we all watch the news. We all see the dreary news every day, and we really need to mobilize our country around something positive, and we believe that that's like change.
And do you think it's going to be easy?
It's never easy. It's never easy. In fact, since we launched, we've actually a local radio company, Cliff Central, came to us, and we now have a Like Change radio show. So they're all parts of society that are getting on board, and I think what's important is we can all make a change, whether it's with money or with our expertise. So that's what we want out of this campaign.
I suppose, as it is with social media, people can only click on the like button only once unless they start different accounts. What happens if you don't reach the number of likes that you want?
Well, we're very positive that we'll reach it in 3 years. If you look at some of the organizations involved, which is KFC, Ad Hope, Zurich, HSBC, the SABC, together, there are thousands and thousands of people just who work for those companies. So we're going to roll out initiatives on an ongoing basis to mobilize those kind of companies and get corporate South Africa involved to literally just click a Like Change button.
To your knowledge, has there ever been a similar campaign?
Not to my knowledge, no. There have been certain armchair activism campaigns, but in this format, not to my knowledge.
And I suppose you would know about other social media campaigns around Africa. Does it often work?
Sure. I think you've got to set clear objectives, and you've got to really appeal to the consumers at large. I mean, I was a judge on the Social Media Africa Awards a couple of months ago, and one of the winners was a company called Barefoot Law. And they originate out of Uganda, and they offer legal services to people who can't afford it through Facebook. And they reach about 170,000 people on a monthly basis. So if the need is there, and if people are motivated to actually see change in action, I think, there's no reason why it shouldn't be successful.
And social media, I suppose the possibilities are really endless.
Without a doubt, social media should be at the heart of every organization. If your product doesn't work, or if something happens out there, it's all going to come alive on social media, so best be prepared.
All right, so Ryan Silberman, Pop Eye Media Chief Operations Officer, thank you very much
for being part of Fire
Network tonight.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Now it's SABC Network on Facebook and Twitter. We'll be back after a short break. Stay with me.
You ask? This is who we are.
We are technologically driven.
We are unashamedly Afrocentric.
We advise you not only on legal matters,
but on health issues as well.
We bring imagination to life.
We celebrate arts and culture and lifestyle.
We tackle life challenges head on.
We dig deep. We probe. We question.
We invite you to take a view from our house, as we tell it without fear, separating fiction from factual.
We are the SABC News Channel.
All news, all global, all the time. Welcome back. Now let's take a quick look at some of the tech stories that made headlines all over the world.
Policymakers and experts in ICT gathered in Rwanda this past week for the Commonwealth e-Governance Forum Africa. They commended the East African country as a model in using ICT and e-governance for sustainable development. Rwanda has one of the world's fastest growing economies thanks to heavy investments in ICT. In fact, the country says it is molding its development around the creation of a Singapore-like country in Africa. In the United States, the 2015 Facebook Developer Conference held during the week helped bring clarity for technology projects that have puzzled some analysts. The social media site has confirmed it is working on new projects, including virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and drones. For virtual reality, Facebook says while headsets such as Oculus Rifts suggest video games and entertainment, the gadgets could transform how people communicate on social media sites. For example, events such as a birthday party or a child's first bike ride could be shared on Facebook so that users in different parts of the world felt as if they were taking part.
After thousands of demos, we know we are just on the cusp, just getting there, to get that sense of presence, where for a moment, your conscious brain is overruled by your subconscious, which says you are not where you think you are.
We think we know where to end this tech rap in Japan and outer space. The companion robot called Kurobo was on Friday awarded 2 Guinness World Records. One, for being the first robot to have conversation in space, and the other, for reaching the highest height as a robot from Earth.
Let's see what some people have been sharing in social media. Of Miss South Africa, Liz Laurie from Eldorado Park tonight, tweets about the contest have been trending in social media. Bafana Bafana has also been trending. They were playing Nigeria this afternoon. Kosatu Zwelinzi Mavavi also trended in social media today. This is after calling a press briefing. He was expected to resign, but he said he isn't resigning. And that's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook and Twitter. It's newsnetwork@sabc.co.za on email. From me and the rest of the team, have a good one.
I would say there's no